I killed my best friend with my own hands, not literally, but close enough that the cops still whisper about it in the precinct break room. Or at least, that's what they think I did. Because the bastard who framed me made sure every piece of evidence pointed straight at my face. But here's the real gut punch. I woke up in his skin the next morning, staring into a mirror that lied like a politician at a press conference. And the first thought that hit me wasn't horror, it was opportunity. You see, betrayal isn't just a word, it's a blade that twists slow. And mine came from the one person I trusted more than my own reflection, Marcus Hale, the golden boy of Chicago's cutthroat finance world, who sold me out for a corner office and a clear conscience. The rain hammered Chicago like it had a personal grudge, turning the streets into rivers of regret as I stumbled out of O'Malley's bar that night. It was supposed to be our ritual, me and Marcus, knocking back whiskeys after closing another deal at Hale and Associates, where I busted my ass as the numbers guy while he schmoozed the clients. Avery Grant, the reliable sidekick, the one who crunched the spreadsheets so he could flash that $1 million smile. We'd been thick as thieves since Northwestern, rooming together, chasing the same American dream, penthouses overlooking Lake Michigan, women who laughed at our jokes, and enough cash to buy forgiveness for our sins. But sins? Yeah, we had those. Marcus's latest scheme was a Ponzi pyramid dressed up as a green energy fund, siphoning grandma's retirement into offshore accounts while promising solar panels for the South Side. I knew it was rotten from the jump, but when he begged me to cook the books, I did it. Not for the cut, he said it'd be 50-50, but because he was Marcus, the brother I never had. We're building an empire. Ave, he'd say, clapping my shoulder like we were Rockefeller and Vanderbilt reborn. You and me against the world. That night, after the third round, he leaned in close, breath sour with bourbon. It's time to cash out. His eyes gleamed, not with the fire of ambition, but something colder, calculation. He slid an envelope across the sticky bar top. Inside, forged transfer docs, my signature already scrawled in his perfect mimicry. Sign the real ones, buddy. Make it official. My gut twisted. This is it? We're burning it all down. He grinned. That wolfish Hale grin. Not down for us. The feds are closing in. I take the heat if it comes. But you're clean. Walk away rich. Liar. I signed because loyalty's a drug, and I was hooked. We clinked glasses, toasted to freedom, and I drove him back to his Gold Coast condo in my beat-up Civic, the wipers slapping like accusations. He clapped me on the back at the door. Love you, man. Couldn't do this without you. I never saw the knife coming. Next morning, or what felt like morning, though the clock said 3 a.m., I jolted awake in silk sheets that smelled like his cologne, not my thrift store detergent. His hands, were manicured, veins mapping a life of privilege I didn't recognize. I bolted to the bathroom, flicked on the light, and there he was, Marcus Hale staring back, green eyes wide with my panic. I touched his cheek, felt the stubble I hadn't shaved. But it was wrong. The reflection blinked when I didn't. What the actual fuck? His voice, boomed off the marble tiles. Deeper. Smoother. Laced with that East Coast polish he'd faked from Jersey roots. I stumbled back, crashing into the vanity. Bottles of Creed Aventus clattering like gunfire. This wasn't a hangover hallucination. I'd read enough Stephen King to know crazy from cursed. But this was some quantum bullshit. A body swap straight out of a bad sci-fi flick. Last thing I remembered, pulling into my Wicker Park walk-up. The envelope burning a hole in my glove box. A weird antique amulet Marcus had pawned off as a good luck charm from some estate sale, silver, etched with symbols that looked like tangled barbed wire. He draped it around my neck as a joke. For protection. Ave. Against the wolves. Wolves. Fitting. I ripped off the shirt, his shirt, and there was the amulet, cold against skin that wasn't mine. I yanked it free, and the world tilted, nausea slamming me like a freight train. Flashes, Marcus's memories bleeding into mine. Unbidden. Boardroom deals where he laughed while screwing partners over. Late nights with escorts. Whispering promises he never kept. And me, Avery, always the patsy. The fall guy he'd groomed since college. The phone buzzed on the nightstand, an alert from the Chicago Tribune app. Finance was Avery Grant sought in multi-million fraud scheme. His photo splashed across the screen, looking dazed from last week's company picnic. Below, Associate Marcus Hale missing. Foul play suspected. Missing? The son of a bitch had vanished into thin air, into my air. Apparently. And now I was him. With his face, his fingerprints, his goddamn life insurance policy naming some ex as beneficiary. The betrayal hit like ice water. He'd planned this. The amulet wasn't luck, it was his escape hatch. Some black market occult crap he dug up from the dark web or a shady antiquities dealer in Pilsen. Swap bodies, frame the poor sap, and sail off into anonymity with the loot. Rage boiled up. Hot and American as apple pie a la mode with a side of vengeance. Marcus Hale now, dressed in his tailored Zegna suit, the fabric hugging like a lie. Pocketed his wallet, platinum Amex. No limits. Grabbed his keys to the Audi R8 and peeled out into the storm-slicked streets. First stop, my apartment. If cops were sniffing, they'd trash it, plant evidence. I had to torch the loose ends. The building loomed like a tombstone. My Super's pickup idling out front with hazard lights flashing. Mr. Hale, he called, squinting through the rain. You a friend of Avery's? Cops just left, said he's dangerous. I forced Marcus's smile. Old college buddy. Checking on things. Inside. My place was a war zone. Drawers yanked. Mattress slashed. That damn envelope pinned to the fridge with a forensic tag. Evidence. Forged docs. My handwriting. My ruin. But in the chaos, I spotted it, my laptop. Overlooked in the closet. Password. Marcus Bro for life. Irony at its finest. Files spilled open, emails from Marcus to a fixer named Ghost, wiring instructions for the fraud haul to Cayman accounts in my name. And deeper, buried in deleted folders, the real bomb. A video timestamped 2 weeks ago. Marcus, in this very suit, confessing to a hidden camera. Avery's the perfect mark. Loyal dog. I'll swap. He'll take the murder rap when I stage it right. Cops love a desperate fall guy. Murder? My blood ran cold. The video cut to him injecting something into a vial. Poison? And then the amulet ritual. Chanted in garbled Latin. The screen flickering like bad reception. He'd meant to kill me. Frame me for fraud. Then suicide to tie it off. But the swap misfired, trapped us both in limbo. I smashed the laptop. Flames licking up from the kitchen sink as I doused it in lighter fluid. Sirens wailed distant. Closing in. Opportunity, I thought, echoing my hook. If I'm him, I can be him better. Destroy from the inside. By dawn, I was back in his penthouse, scrolling his contacts. First call, to Elena Vasquez, his shark of a lawyer. Avery's on the run, I said in his voice. We need to bury this. Her laugh was silk over steel. Already on it, Marcus. But watch your back, feds have a witness. Witness. The plot thickened, betrayal layering like Chicago smog. Who else had he screwed? As I hung up, a memory, not mine, surfaced. Elena, in bed with him, plotting my downfall over champagne. Deeper web. I poured his scotch. Neat. And raised a glass to the mirror. To empires. Marcus. Yours is about to crumble. The day blurred into power plays. Board meeting at Hale and Associates, where I, Marcus, sat at the head, charming the vultures with lies spun from his stolen thoughts. Avery's a rogue element, I declared, voice steady. But we've contained it. Profits up 15%. Nods. Claps. Inside, I cataloged their weaknesses. The CFO's coke habit, the VP's affair with the intern. Ammo for later. Night fell, and I hit the streets, not his Gold Coast haunts, but the underbelly. A dive in Little Village, where Ghost nursed a Modelo. Hail, he grunted, not recognizing the swap. You look like shit. Cut the crap, I snarled, sliding a photo of the amulet. What the hell is this thing? And why'd it backfire? His eyes narrowed, scarred face twisting. Black market relic. From some voodoo priest in New Orleans. Permanent swap. One-way ticket. Meant to ghost you into oblivion. But if you're asking, he trailed off, realization dawning. Holy shit. You're not. I leaned in, knife for his boot pressing under the table. Tell Marcus's secret, or I carve it out, he spilled. The amulet was keyed to blood, our blood, mingled in a toast years ago at a frat party. Betrayal sealed in DNA. But twist, it only worked if the user harbored true hate. Marcus hated me? Or was it fear? Deeper. The crime I bore wasn't just fraud. Marcus had killed his father-in-law, a rival banker, staging it as a heart attack with that vile poison. Pushed the blame to me via access logs he'd planted. I'd signed off on the fund that funneled the cover money. Innocent? No. Complicit? Hell yes. But the murder rap? That was his masterpiece. I left Ghost bleeding in the alley, not dead, but message sent. Controversial? Walking that line already. As cop cars screamed past, I slipped into the Audi, heart pounding with dark thrill. Revenge wasn't a plan, it was evolution. By midnight, Elena called back. Feds have Avery in custody. Shot at officers during a raid. My body, my real one, caged. But in this shell, I was free. Or was I? The mirror lied again. Marcus's eyes mocking me. The swap wasn't escape, it was prison. I uncorked another bottle. Tomorrow, I dismantle his world. Piece by bloody piece. Wearing Marcus Hale's skin felt like dragging an anchor through molasses, every step a reminder that I was puppeteering a corpse that still breathed. The penthouse gym became my confessional at 5 a.m. Sweat stinging as I pounded the heavy bag, his knuckles splitting open like accusations. Why me? Why this curse? The amulet dangled from the chain around my neck now. A talisman turned noose. I'd scoured his library till dawn, occult tomes hidden behind false panels, Whispers of soul transference from 19th century grifters who'd swindled robber barons. No reversal. One-way street to hell. Sophia Blosk as my muet. I suited up for the real war. Hale and Associates Tower pierced the loop like a middle finger to the working stiffs below. Glass facade gleaming under a sun that mocked the chill wind off the lake. Elevator ride up. Mirrors everywhere, forcing me to rehearse his smirk, his stride. Morning. Mr. Hale, the receptionist cooed, batting lashes at a man she thought untouchable. Untouchable? I'd make him radioactive. In the boardroom, the wolves circled. Elena arrived last, power heels clicking like countdowns. Mid-40s, Latina firecracker with a Harvard JD and a grudge against the system that chewed her up young. Marcus's memories painted her as arm candy, but I saw the steel. She'd clawed from Humboldt Park tenements, betting power players to climb.
Now.
She eyed me, him, with that knowing glint. Rough night, she purred, sliding into the seat beside mine. Rough life, I quipped, channeling his charm. But inside, gears turned.
Was she in on it?
The video confession flickered in my mind, her silhouette in the background. Laughing. Agenda. Damage control. Avery Grant's arrest is a PR nightmare, the CFO droned. A weaselly prick named Harlan with coke-fueled jitters. SEC's sniffing. I leaned forward, Marcus's voice dripping honey venom. Then we feed them a bone. Leak that Avery was embezzling solo. Hero narrative. I tried to stop him. Murmurs of approval. Elena's pen tapped. Morse code for suspicion?
Bold.
Marcus. But forensics tie you to the transfers. Clean it up, I snapped. Eyes locking hers. Challenge thrown. Post-meeting. She cornered me in the executive washroom. The scent of her Chanel no. 5 cutting through the bleach. What's with the edge? You sound off. Heart hammering. I spun her against the sink. His hands, gripping her waist like lovers. Off. Like how you fucked me over with the Cayman wires? Bluff. Pulled from his fragmented recalls. Her breath hitched, but she didn't flinch. We all did. Darling. For the Empire. Then, softer. But Avery? He was collateral. You said it yourself. Collateral. The word ignited something primal. I kissed her then, not passion, but possession, tasting betrayal on her tongue. She melted, moaning his name. Mine now. That afternoon, I played the part, press conference in the lobby, flashbulbs popping like gunfire. My heart goes out to Avery. I lied. Face schooled in grief. Betrayal cuts deep, but justice will prevail. Off mic. To a Trib reporter. Off record. He threatened my life. Check his browser history. Dark web hits on contract kills. Seeds planted. By evening, headlines screamed, Hale insider turns killer? Grant's dark secrets expose. Vindication tasted like ash. I retreated to his my temporary office. Floor-to-ceiling windows framing the city as a chessboard. Pawns, Harlan, the junkie, board members with mistresses and mortgages. King, Marcus, rotting in my body behind bars. Phone buzzed, unknown number. Ghost, wheezing. You crazy fuck. Cops are on me cause of you. Amulet's got a failsafe, reverse with mutual blood under full moon. But you gotta find the priest. New Orleans. Voodoo queen named Mama Laveau's ghost. Wait.
No.
her descendant,
Hope.
or trap. I booked a red-eye. Private jet on his dime. Elena knocked as I packed. Going somewhere? Business, I said, zipping the duffel. Hold the fort. And Elena? Dig into Avery's file. The real one. Her eyes narrowed.
Why?
Because secrets bury people. I brushed past, leaving her in the doorway like a discarded queen. Flight south was turbulence in a tin can, bourbon steadying nerves as memories bled. Marcus's youth. Orphan in Philly, clawing to Ivy League on daddy's stolen cash. His first kill, not the father-in-law, but a rival frat bro. OD'd on laced coke to snag a scholarship. Power's poison. And he'd mainlined it. New Orleans hit like a fever dream. Humid air thick with jazz and jasmine. French Quarter alleys whispering sins. I found the shop off Bourbon Street. Le Serpent Mystique, shelves groaning with gris-gris bags and candles flickering like guilty consciences. The woman behind the counter was steel-wool hair and eyes like black pearls, mama's kin. Or so ghosts swore. Avery Grant, she rasped. No hello. Or what's left of him. Chills spidered my spine. How? The swap echoes. Spirits talk. She lit sage. Smoke curling like accusations. Marcus Hale bought the relic from my bloodline. Price, a soul debt. He paid with yours. I slammed the amulet down. Reverse it.
Now.
She laughed.
Tobacco stained.
Ain't no now. Full moon's tomorrow. But blood must be willing, yours and his. Mixed with truth serum from the bayou. And a price. Expose the killer.
Killer. Plural?
Deal. She brewed the serum in a skull-shaped mortar. Herbs reeking of regret. Drink at midnight. Find Hale's body, your shell. Force the ritual. Back in a quarter flop, I swigged the bitter draft. Visions assaulted. Not just Marcus's, but mine complicit in the fraud, ignoring red flags for the thrill of the win. Was I the villain too? Controversial truth. Loyalty blinded, but greed winked. Dawn broke, and I flew north, serum burning in my gut. Chicago welcomed with gales, the full moon mocking from smog-veiled skies. Plan. Bust myself out? No, infiltrate. Cook County Jail. Visitor log fudged with a bribe to a guard. Marcus's slush fund. Endless. My cell, his cell now, stank of despair. Fluorescent buzz drilling my skull. Me. In orange jumpsuit. Looking wrecked but defiant. Our eyes met through plexiglass. Mirror images in hell. Ave, he mouthed. Voice tinny through the speaker. What the fuck did you do? I smiled his smile. Learned your tricks. We're swapping back. Tonight. Panic flickered, real.
Raw. Can't.
It's permanent. Liar. I pressed the amulet to the glass. Ritual. Or I let you rot as me. The fraud. The almost murder. He slumped. Defeated.
Fine.
But you don't know the half. Transfer arranged. Medical eval to an abandoned wing. Courtesy of Elena's forged orders.
Moonrise.
We faced off in a boiler room. Shadows dancing like demons. I pricked his finger, then forced the needle into my vein. Blood mingled on the relic. Serum poured like libation. Chants echoed. Air thickening. Pain lanced fire in veins. Bones grinding. The world inverted. And I gasped awake in my body. Scrawny and scarred. Marcus across from me in his polished shell, gasping too. Freedom?
No.
He lunged, eyes feral. You think it's over? Fight erupted, fists, furniture splintering. I pinned him, amulet glowing.
Confess.
The murder. The frame. He spat blood. You were always weak.
Ave.
I made you. Truth serum hit. Words tumbling. The father-in-law's death.
Yes.
But deeper, Elena's role. Her lover. And mine? I'd signed the poison order. Disguised as lab supplies for the fund's research. Complicit. The twist nod. Sirens wailed. Betrayals encore. Guards burst in. Tasers crackling. As they cuffed us both, Marcus laughed. We're the same, brother. Moonlight faded. Swap reversed, but chains remained. Jail's a great equalizer, strips you bare, leaves you with echoes and enemies. Back in my skin, bruises blooming like bad tattoos. I paced the 6x8. The amulet confiscated, but its curse lingering in nightmares. Marcus, in solitary across the block, screamed obscenities that bounced off concrete like ricochets. We'd both confessed under the serum's haze, him to murder, me to fraud, but the feds parsed it as a joint delirium. Stockholm confessions from the fall guy and the boss. Elena pulled strings, got him bail. I rotted. The little fish. But rot breeds resolve. I scratched plans into the mattress with a contraband nail, exposed the web. Start with Harlan, the CFO, his nose candy supplier owed Marcus favors. Through a trusty smuggler. I sent word. Meet at the old steel mill. Midnight. Bring the ledger. Trusty life was a grind. Cafeteria slop. Yard time dodging shivs from Aryan pricks who'd heard the fraud whispers. But knowledge was currency. Marcus's memories lingered like ghosts, the firm's real books, hidden in a cloud drive keyed to Harlan's birthday. I memorized the access, whispered it to a hacktivist bunkmate named Jax, a kid in for deducing banks. Get me the files, I bartered. Email to a burner. Jax grinned. Gap-toothed. For a cut of the fame? Done. Files dropped 2 nights later. Smuggled on a lawyer's thumb drive during consult. Pages of poison. Not just the Ponzi, but kickbacks to aldermen. Laundered through South Side nonprofits. And the murder, digital trail of the vile purchase. Routed through my login. Framed. But my fingerprints, literal and figurative. Harlan bit the hook, skittish as a ferret. Steel mill loomed on the Calumet's edge. Rusting behemoth under sodium lamps. Wind howling through broken panes like banshees. I slipped out on work release, ironic. Community service, scrubbing graffiti, hitched a ride with a guard's cousin for $20. He arrived in a town car. Headlights cutting fog like accusations. Grant, this better be quick. I stepped from shadows. No weapon, just the files printed on cheap paper. Fluttering like indictments. It's Hale. He wants the ledger burned. But first, sign this. Affidavit on the father-in-law hit. His laugh was nervous bark. You're nuts. Hale's untouchable. Was. I tossed the printouts at his feet.
Read.
Your name's on half. He scanned, face paling under the mill's orange glow. Jesus. This is. Career ender. I advanced, voice low. American grit honed in bar fights. Sign. Or it hits the sun times at dawn. Tremble-handed. He scrawled. But eyes darted, betrayal's reflex. He lunged for a phone in his pocket, dialing security. I tackled. Concrete grinding knees. Fists flying in a blur of desperation. Controversial? Beating a man's face to pulp for a signature blurred every line I'd sworn by. Blood slicked the pages as I pocketed the affidavit, leaving him groaning. Ribs cracked. Sirens again, his call connected. I vanished into the sprawl, heart thundering, the mill's skeleton fading behind. Back in the pen by curfew, affidavit hidden in a hollowed Bible. I waited. Dawn brought chaos. Headlines blared, Hale's CFO assaulted, fraud allegations surface. Elena's face on the news. Denying. But cracks showed, her firm distancing. Jax's hack hit next. Cloud Drive leaked to WikiLeaks. Terabytes of dirt flooding forums. Twitter, X now erupted. Hale Empire falls trending. Memes of Marcus as Thanos with offshore accounts. Protests brewed outside the tower. Pitchfork Modern. Signs reading, Justice for the Southside Suckers. Marcus's bail hearing? Revoked. Feds swooped, chaining him beside me in a joint cell for interviews. Up close. His face, my former mirror, was haggard. Eyes hollow with the swap's aftertaste. You did this, he hissed through the bars. Us, I corrected. Your sins. My hands. Interrogation room. Fluorescent hell. Two-way mirror watching. Fed named Kowalski. Grizzled Pole with a badge polish brighter than his skepticism. Grant. You claim body swap? Hale's the killer. I leaned in. Voice steady. Test the vile residue. My blood's on it from the frame. But check Elena Vasquez. She's the witness you need. Kowalski snorted. Lawyer-client? Ironclad. Not if she's the brains. I slid the affidavit under the table. Harlan sang. Gears turned. By nightfall, Elena was in cuffs. Her penthouse raided, champagne flutes with Marcus's prints. Emails plotting my disappearance. But the twist coiled tighter. In the chaos, a guard slipped me a note. Mama says hi. Price ain't paid. Voodoo debt lingered. Visitation. Unlikely face. Harlan. Bandaged. Vengeful. You broke me.
Grant.
But Hale? He broke us all. Confession. The murder wasn't just father-in-law. Marcus had offed a whistleblower too, a junior analyst. Suicided in the Chicago River. And me? I'd covered the paperwork. Voluntary resignation. Mirror to my soul. I'd borne the mistake, but chosen the blind eye. Betrayal mutual. In the currency of ambition. Riot night fell. Protests turned ugly. Tear gas canisters popping outside. In the scrum, I bartered with inmates, shank for a phone. Called a trib contact from the files. Exclusive, Hale's full ledger. But bury me as hero. Line went live at 2 a.m. Inside the swap? Grant's tale of occult revenge. Tabloid gold. But seeds of doubt. Cops reopen my case. Swap dismissed as stress delusion, but the fraud stuck to Marcus like tar. Elena cracked first. Plea deals spilling. Marcus planned the swap for escape. Avery was the patsy loyal.
Dumb.
But her ad. He knew the risks. Signed everything. Courtroom circus a week later. Me in orange. Marcus in bespoke chains. Elena testifying in silk. Judge. A Windy City vet. Banged gavel like thunder. Enough theater. Grant. Fraud complicit. Hale. Murder 1. Vasquez. Accessory. Sentences dropped. Me. 10 years probation. Deal for testimony. Marcus. Life without. Elena. 15. As they led him away, he twisted, eyes locking mine. You won.
Ave.
But the amulet? It's in evidence. Wait for the moon.
Chill.
The curse unbound?
Outside.
Free air hit like absolution or illusion. Chicago pulsed. Indifferent. I hit a dive. Ordered whiskey neat. To empires crumbled. But in the pocket mirror, a flicker, green eyes, not brown. Swaps echo. Freedom's a fickle bitch, tastes like stale coffee and bus exhaust when you earn it on technicalities. Probation pinned me to Chicago like a moth to corkboard. Weekly check-ins. No booze. Job at a temp agency shuffling spreadsheets for minimum wage. The American dream inverted. Back to the grind that birthed the nightmare. But under the skin, the amulet's hum persisted. A low buzz like tinnitus from hell. Evidence lockup held it. But dreams brought it back. Marcus's laugh. Elena's whisper. My own hand signing the vile order. I rented a basement in Logan Square, damp walls. Radiator hissing judgments.
Nights.
I pored over case files smuggled from Jack's. Now out on good behavior and ghosting dark web drops. The leaks had toppled dominoes. Hale and associates shuttered. Assets seized for victims' restitution. South Side moms got checks. But justice? Cold comfort for the analyst's widow, who wrote me letters. You were there. Why? Guilt's a slow poison. Slower than Marcus's vial. Controversial decision loomed. Visit her. Lakeview bungalow. Porch light flickering welcome to ghosts. She answered in sweatpants. Eyes red-rimmed. Toddler on hip. Mr.
Grant? I.
Read the articles. Crazy. Right? I shrugged. Hands jammed in pockets. Can I explain?
Inside.
Over weak tea. Truth spilled, not the swap. Too wild, but complicity. I saw the signs. Ignored M for the paycheck. For him. She nodded. No hate. Just hollow. Hale took my Danny. You're giving back. Handed me a flash drive. Danny's backups. Overlooked evidence. He suspected. Recorded everything. Files glowed on my laptop. Audio of Marcus boasting. Avery's the buffer. He'll eat the shit. And deeper. The whistleblower's fear. They're coming for me. The amulet. Hale's insurance. Insurance. The relic tied tighter than I thought. Next move. Reclaim it. Probation, be damned. Kowalski owed me his bust of the year. Front page glory. Diner meat. Eggs over easy. He slid keys. Lockup access. Off books. But this swap shit? Drop it. Can't, I said. Forking yoke. It's real. He chuckled. You're a folk hero now.
Grant.
But heroes fall. Vault chilled like a tomb. Amulet in a plexi case. Tag reading occult paraphernalia. Case 472. I palmed it. Heart jackhammering. Alarm silent. Kowalski's favor deep. Back in the basement. Full moon swelled again. Pulling tides in my blood. Ritual reverse? Or deepen the debt? Mama's warning echoed. Expose the killer. Plural. Serum brewed from Bayou herbs Jack sourced, bitter as regret. I drank alone. Visions crashing. Not memories, but futures. Marcus and Supermax. Carving shivs from soap. Plotting escape. Elena in women's pen. lawyering her way to early out, eyes on revenge. And me, fading into obscurity, or rising as the new wolf. Eclipse hit at 3 a.m. Moon blood-red through grimy window. I chanted the garble from tomes. Blood pricked, mine alone now. Amulet scorched palm. Air warping like heat haze. Pain folded me, but no swap. Instead, clarity, the relic's truth. It didn't transfer souls, it amplified shadows, swapped essences. The dark parts. Marcus's hate had dragged mine to surface, made me the monster in his suit. Twist inverted, I wasn't the victim. The swap revealed the lie I'd lived, ambition's mirror, reflecting his sins as mine. Dawn broke. Amulet cold ash in my fist.
Destroyed?
Or dormant. Phone rang, unknown. Elena's voice. Tinny from prison line. Avery. We need to talk. The real secret. Visitation greenlit, her plea deal crumbling under new leaks. She looked smaller behind glass. Makeup stark against pallor. Marcus didn't frame you alone. I pushed it. For love? No, for power. But the murder? Danny knew too much. And you signed off because I asked, that night in the bar. Flirtation. Promise of more. Gut punch. I'd betted her once. Post-deal haze. Her hand guiding mine to the pen. Betrayal threesome. Why tell now? Eclipse dreams, she whispered. The amulet showed me. We're all swapped, souls tangled. Kill me in your mind. Or free us. Controversial. Mercy or malice. I nodded to the guard. And the call. But outside. Decision brewed. Jax texted. New player. Priestkin in town. Says debt calls for blood. Mama's descendant tracked me to a Pilsen taqueria. Corn tortillas steaming like offerings.
The relic shows you.
Avery. Not victim, vessel. Hale's hate fueled it, but yours sustains. Mine. Complicity's the deepest cut. To end, sacrifice the source. Source, Marcus. Supermax loomed. Razor wire glinting under prairie sun. Bribe a guard? Risk probation? Heart raced, dark thrill returning. Infiltrate approved as rehab counselor. Forged creds from Jax. Cell block reeked of bleach and despair. Marcus. Bulked on prison chow. Eyes lighting with hate. Come to gloat. End it. I pressed the ash, remnant, to his chest. Ritual. Final swap. He lunged. Chains rattling. Never. A fight in the yard. Under guard eyes averted for cash. Fists. Blood mine. His. Controversial climax. I drove the shank Jack smuggled. Not lethal, but enough to draw the mingled blood. Ash ignited. Spectral glow. Eclipse echo. Visions merged. Our youths. Ambitions entwined. Betrayals born of brotherhood's rot. He gasped, collapsing. Avery. Forgive.
No.
But understanding?
Dawn.
Guards swarmed. Me cuffed anew, attempted murder. But as they dragged, Marcus wheezed truth to medics. He saved me. The killer's me. Charges flipped. Hero again? Eclipse faded. But shadows lingered. Absolution's a myth. Peddled by preachers and politicians to keep the suckers lining up. 6 months post-yard brawl. I walked free. Manslaughter plea. Time served. The shank ruled self-defense after Marcus's dying words. He lived. Barely. vegetative in a state hospital, drooling empire's end. Chicago had moved on, new scandals, elections, the relentless churn of a city that eats its young. Me? I was the footnote, the swapped soul guy, hawking a ghost-written memoir to pay parole fees. American Redemption arc. Served with irony. The basement upgraded to a one-bed in Ukrainian village, still musty, but with windows framing the L's rumble like a mechanical heartbeat. Nights. I bartended at a dive called the Rusty Anchor, slinging IPAs to hipsters nursing quarter-life crises. Heard you took down the big man, they'd say, toasting with craft bitters. Nah, I'd reply, wiping foam. We took each other. Elena? 5 years shaved for cooperation. Out on good behavior. Running a pro bono firm in Bronzeville, irony's gift. Lawyering for the framed. We met once. Coffee at a lakeside spot. Wind whipping her hair like unresolved plot. The amulet showed truths we hid, she said, stirring sugarless black. I was the power behind his throne. You? The conscience he envied. Envy. The final twist. Marcus didn't hate me. He feared the better man I'd been. Before the grind ground us down. The swap reversed not bodies, but illusions, exposed the fraud in my soul, the killer in his heart. Controversial end. I visited him monthly. Hospital room beeping, like a stalled heartbeat. Tubes snaked his arms. Eyes vacant pools reflecting my face. Older. Lined with regrets. Ave, he'd mumble on lucid days. Voice slurred. Finish it. I wouldn't. Mercy or cruelty? Letting him stew in limbo. Debatable. Over beers with Jacks. Now a podcaster dissecting occult corporatism. You won. Man, he'd say. Or, did the curse? Mama's kin vanished post-ritual. Debt paid in exposure, the leaks her handiwork. Voodoo justice via VPN. Last note. Shadows swapped. But light chooses. Light? I chased it haltingly. Volunteered at a Southside finance literacy nonprofit, teaching kids to spot Ponzi wolves. Numbers don't lie, I'd say. Chalking ledgers. People do. One girl, braids flying, raised her hand. Mr. Avery, you a hero or a villain? Class laughed. I didn't. Both. Pick your side. Climax echoed in quiet ways. The widow remarried. Sent a Christmas card with her boy's photo, smiling. Unscarred by our sins. Harlan? Suicide. Bottle of pills and a note blaming the machine. Elena's firm took his estate. Funded scholarships. But tension lingered. Dark undercurrent. Full moons brought sweats. Whispers of green eyes in mirrors. The amulet's ash? Buried in a Grant family plot outside the city. Under a stone marked Brotherhood's End. Dug it up once. On a whim, gone. Dissolved like bad dreams. Final hook. A letter arrived. Postmark New Orleans. The vessel empties. But echoes call. Choose. Rebuild or repeat. And signed. But scented with jasmine. I burned it. Watched flames dance in the sink. Rebuild? Started small. A date with a bar regular. Redhead named Riley who quoted Vonnegut and hated finance bros. Your story's wild, she said over pierogies. But real. Real as regret. Kiss under L tracks. Sparks flying literal and not. Marcus passed in spring, complications. Official. I attended the sparse funeral. Elena across the aisle. Our eyes meeting in mutual absolution. No words, none needed. Graveside. Wind off the lake carrying whispers. I scattered the last ash imagined from my pocket. To empires, I toasted solo. Whiskey flask warm. And the fools who build them. Coda, Chicago endures. Steel and soul. Betrayals buried under new concrete.
Me?
Avery Grant. Swapped and scarred. Walking the line between ghost and man. Hero? Villain? The debate rages in Reddit threads and bar stools. Good. Let M argue. In the end, revenge isn't victory. It's the mirror that cracks, showing the fractures we all hide. Fade to rain-streaked windows. A city pulsing with possibility and peril. The American way. Rise. Fall. Be right.